Next up at UFC Vegas 65, we have Miles John taking on Vince Morales. DraftKings will show you that Miles John is out of this fight, but there's no news about that anywhere. And Miles John is like tweeting and doing Instagram stories about like on my flight heading over. So I think it's just literally a clerical error at DraftKings, because according to everything, Miles John is still fighting Vince Morales, and he's 12-2 overall.
Yeah, we didn't even mention the DraftKings thing. We can mention it after this fight too. They changed their whole thing. Late ads.
Oh yeah, they added DraftKings now allows you, after a card has started, if a fighter drops, they allow you to make a swap. This most recently happened with Chase Sherman versus Josh Parisian. That was canceled after the card started. If you had either one of them, you were screwed. Now you can do those player swaps. So, I mean, it's a feature we've literally been begging for.
Double G's for that. That should be a double G right there.
Double G. Members?
Boom, I put him in there.
You've got the double G emote. Anyway, Miles John's 12-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5. He's coming off that pretty disappointing loss to John Castaneda. Vince Morales, 11-6 overall, 2-3 in his last 5, and he's coming off that decision loss to Jonathan Martinez. And the reason I said the Miles John loss was disappointing is because he's a very good wrestler who has power in his hands. The problem is he discovered power in his hands. In his first 2 UFC fights, where are the stats? I have them in front of me somewhere. In his first two UFC fights, he had 4 takedowns. Since then, 0. Because he got a couple of knockouts, and he's like, oh, wow, I could do this. This is easier than wrestling. And now he doesn't wrestle. He doesn't shoot. He doesn't do what he's supposed to do to try to win these fights. And that's the problem. And that's why he lost that Sexy Mexi fight. If he went out there, tried to wrestle hard, tried to push forward, he could have potentially won that fight, but he didn't. He didn't use his best tool, which is wrestling, in that fight. And he's fighting Vince Morales. Vince Morales is a decent striker. He's got okay boxing. And if he doesn't have that most technical skill set, he's got good pressure, good volume, and he's always moving, always trying to make something happen. I do think Miles John can win this fight because he's got power in his hands and he can wrestle, but he will absolutely need to wrestle. Do not box Vince Morales. He will just lose the boxing exchanges because he's going to be sitting on a big right hand, throwing it, trying to land it, not land it, and then just end up getting jabbed to death. He is coming in on short notice. I don't know what that means for the likelihood of him wrestling or not, but I'm going to lean Miles John because while he didn't use wrestling in his last fight, he can win by knockout and he can win with grappling. Whether he's going to use those 2 things effectively or not are the question, but overall he's got more ways to win, so I got to go with him here. What do you think?
Yeah, I picked the opposite, and it just comes down to the short notice because we've seen Miles John, especially if he's getting hit and getting pressured, he can't fold under that pressure. He gets a little bit worn down, and it might desperate wrestle at that point against a guy like Vince Morales. Vince Morales is not like an outstanding fighter. He's very good, very well rounded, pretty much everywhere. But he's kind of just one of those guys that's always going to be around. You're always going to see him on fight night cards and the prelims, this and that. He's going to win a couple. He's going to lose. He's going to beat people he shouldn't. Then he's going to lose against people he shouldn't. So he's not like this fantastic fighter. But in this matchup, he should be good enough to withstand the Miles John's, big right hands, as you mentioned, and maybe even the wrestling. But Miles John is the better fighter of the 2. So, my pick is Vince, and this is one of those instances. I'm picking Vince Morales. Don't bet Vince. I'm not going to bet Vince Morales in this fight. He is my pick, but Miles John is much more live, either to control the fight with his wrestling if he wants to do that, coming off a loss where he probably should have wrestled, or with that big right hand that he likes to throw. I do like the people calling him Baby Yoel in the chat. That's kind of funny. A wrestler doesn't really wrestle, just wants to throw the right hands. That's kind of what he is. So I might look at something maybe inside the distance for Miles John, because if he does land, it is a big, powerful shot, but. My pick is Vince, short notice. I hope he can just kind of withstand stuff, wear him down, and maybe win the second round, third round, and go to a decision. But who knows? I don't know. By the way, lock of the week this week is just absolutely fucked. I don't know what. I have no idea. I've lost all confidence. It's a complete joke. Fade it. Whatever I pick, just fucking fade it. I was going to pick Vince. Now I'm talking about Vince. It's like he's an absolute joke. I don't know. I just draw it out of a fucking hat. I don't know what's going on anymore. It's a joke, guys. Absolute joke.
Well, it's still a great pick. If they fade it, lean into it, man. You're the new Drake. The pick is going to be wrong. Fade it. Dude, imagine I get it. Drake has a ton of money, but let's say for him, $2 million is, I don't know what, a couple hundred for us. I don't know, 100. I don't know how much money he has.
He's got a lot of money. He's hundreds of millions, I would say.
All right. So let's say $2 million for him is $100 for me. I would be pretty fucking annoyed if I was losing $100 every single weekend. It would still be annoying. It's not going to be the difference between having a roof over my head, but it's still annoying. This dude must be furious. Like just a touch.
I don't think it's actually his money. I think stake, because he's the big stake guy. I think they are like, here, say you're betting this, So I think it's a stake thing. So
or they just it's a real bet, but it's their money. They put it in the account. So, which is possible. Anyway, it is funny. I love it. I love how bad, especially because he had Usman as well. I love that it looks like he's finally going to win one. He's finally going to win one. And then, nope, snatched it out from him. Anyway, we got a $5 super chat from Brandon. Saw that big slab of blood snot land on Poirier's face. That was an incredible fight. It absolutely lived up to the hype, even after all of, how could it have lived up to the hype? And it still did.
Do you know what he's talking about, though?
What?
Do you know what he's talking about with that comment? Dustin said he was fighting dirty, and then he said it was also like a
fish hooked him.
Huh?
He was like fish hooking him.
Well, that part, but the snot thing, when he was over top of him, he literally blew his nose, that was his broken nose, into Poirier's face, and they asked Chandler about it. He's like, that wasn't a dirty play. Listen, I needed to breathe. I blew my nose. He's like, I don't control gravity. It was a pretty good line. He's like, I don't control gravity. I couldn't breathe. I needed to blow my nose, and it just landed. He's on the bottom. It just ended up on him. So,
yeah. Well, and
who predicted that fight perfectly, by the way? My tweet literally said, Chandler is live for the early knockout, which he almost got, or he's going to get tired, try to wrestle late, and get submitted. Thank you.
Well, we had Dustin Poirier in the premium member parlay, and if you followed the premium member parlay this week or last week and the week before, all 4 legs hit, you'd be up 10 units, I think, 10.6 units. I forget exactly what the math is, but you'd be up big. So if you want access to this week's UFC Vegas 65 premium member parlay, go to weonpicks.com. At the top, click become a member. You'll unlock all of our bets, all of our picks, everything, including that exclusive premium member parlay.
What do you think Mackenzie's doing right now?
I don't know, but she went out of her way to say she was single, so she's waiting for that was on purpose.
Why do you think she said that? Because she knows that I was going to see the video.
That's what it was. Listen, Miles Johns, I think he's potentially worth $8,400 in DraftKings. I do think he's worth that. Right now, he's locked on DraftKings, so they say he's out. He's not out. He should be fighting, but I do think he is worth that. And Spicy, are you the person who only deposited $25 when you need to deposit $50, and then you just messaged an hour ago saying you finished your deposits? Just got to wait a day or two, let it flow through the system, but anybody who uses the link and signs up and does what they're supposed to do gets paid, I assure you. Speaking of getting paid,
I've been single for a while now, a few months, and everything's good. We're taking care of our daughter.
Sorry. Sorry, I thought I muted. Sorry about that. Jesus Christ.
I would have loved if the next one was like
Pornhub?
a jerkmate ad. Anyway, Joe Todoro, $5 super chat. Join We Want Picks. Best decision you can make. Trust me. Thank you, Joe. Joe is very appreciated. True OG. Joe won himself $65,000, something like that, in DraftKings. Very good. Big man. $8,400 in DraftKings. I do think Miles Johns is worth that.
Probably.
Thank you.
What do you
much.
think? If this wasn't, he is the short notice fighter, and he is a minus 165. He wasn't short notice.
Moving.
This might be. I guess it would be like a minus 300, which seems crazy if he wasn't short notice.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
I'm surprised that line's still moving after how terrible he looked in his last fight. Oh well.
I don't think he looked awful. He landed some shots. Sexy Mexi was just kind of out.
But he literally was just standing there waiting to throw a haymaker.
Is that how you throw a? Let me see how you throw a
Hey,
punch.
he was sitting on it like a child.
Because I've been here like this, and I had Adrian Yanez saying that my head movement looks fantastic. By the way, I tweeted the video of me, shadow boxing Adrian Yanez, the best boxer in UFC. Said, "Wow, that guy's got some fucking hands on him." So I'd like to see if you want to shadow box. We'll send it to Adrian and get his opinion on yours.
You and I could box for charity.
All I'm asking is a little shadow box, Angelo. I don't think that's too much to ask.
Unlike you, I have full.
Actually, you have. It's kind of interesting. If I could stand up and really get after it, I would. I have a wall, a lot of space behind you, to get up there. Maybe throw a little head kick action. People would love to see it.
You know what's funny? So I was walking. My daughter stayed home from school today.
I don't think we're gonna get. I don't think we want to sidetrack this. I think
speaking
we're
about
for
my
content.
athletic abilities. I'm about to talk about my athletic abilities. And she's got it coming out of both ends. She's got some sort of virus. She stayed home from school today. I was like, let's go outside. Let's get some fresh air.
What's his name? That once your Instagram is really getting excited now.
Yeah, all the D. So we're walking the dog, and my ankle caught like the side of the sidewalk. I just fucking ate shit. I fell down. I thought my ankle was going to break. I took all my weight off it. I rolled around. I'm wearing a sweater. I'm covered in leaves. And she just died laughing in my face. And my ankle is throbbing. And she's just cracking up laughing, wiping leaves off of my back.
And you want to put me at plus 400 against that guy. That's what someone said. Angelo has experience. Apparently experience falling down, so it should be easy for him.
It was not my proudest moment for sure. I literally did that. And then the rest of the walk, I'm like, is this it for me? Like, am I just way past it? Just way past it? So anyway.
Way too agile.
The ankle's not great, but frankly, I don't need two good ankles.
I'm like a kitty cat.
I don't need two good ankles to bring your little baby neck.
No, I got submission defenses.
What is this part?
Huh?
Why is this
hand? I'm defending chokes.
Pretty wide open if that's how you're defending.
No, I got the chin tuck because you're choking on this side, so I'm digging into this side. Now you switch sides. I'm digging in this side like this.
Jacob, why don't everybody wants you to do a vlog? Why don't you take up jiu-jitsu?
Why don't you just stand up, back up 3 steps, and throw a couple punches? Very easy, Angelo.
I'm not, as you said, I'm not the dancing monk. Okay. Not happening. Anyway, I don't even know where we are with this. Oh, we both agreed Miles Johns was probably worth the $8,400 in DraftKings. Monkey Knife Fight, again, not touching it. If you want to throw Miles Johns in your Knockout Kings, go for it. Monkey Knife Fight offers a prop game called Knockout Kings. Any 3 fighters, if one of them wins by KO or TKO, you get paid. He's probably a solid play in that double up the main, bang. There's your line. Voice crack. WeOwnPicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit. WeOwnPicks.com/bets. If you use our link to sign up and you make a deposit, we'll send you $50 as a thank you.